Hey guys, it's me, Maxi here, and I'm finally back onto uploading schedules for YouTube for you guys. And ladies and gentlemen, this is me from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, and then I'm Maxi of course. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Pac-Man World 3 for the Nintendo GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox, PSP, the DS, and PC. So, last time we actually did manage to able to accomplish the forms of the Spectral Cliffs, and overall the world is alright despite the forms of several mistakes worth noting for, like, you know, messed up camera angles and also just failed on that particular Galaxian kind of section. So either way though, yeah, today for this video, or for this video rather, is the fact that we are moving on to this next world, which I'm guessing it's more likely takes place in a canyon, or something like that. I have no idea, because it has been, yeah, you know what I mean, a couple of days ago since I actually last touched upon this game, and because of that, after all, I've managed to win back from Dorset, and I'm gonna say, I did have a really good time with that place. Especially noticeable during the forms of on Saturday, because it was nice and hot and everything, and also because of that though, I actually enjoyed that particular place again. Even though I did manage to went into a different location as opposed to the actual cottage, so that seems alright and such. Oh, and by the way, in certain sections every once in a while is the fact that you might able to take control of one of those Pac-Man ghosts. Yes, for the first time ever in a Pac-Man World game, you can actually able to take control of one of Pac-Man's ghosts. Like for example, since we've already accomplished the forms of the third level in the game, that also means is the fact that we actually did manage to rescue Pinky Ghost. So that way we can now able to take control of Pinky, as you can clearly see on screen. And basically what she can do is the fact that she can able to perform certain magic. Even though, mind you, that this is actually my semi-blind run through of the stage, just because I have no idea what the heck am I supposed to do here. Although, mind you, because again, it's been a couple of days since I actually did come back onto YouTube and stuff like that. And I'm sure that Mega Man will able to go back onto you know, Klonoa Empire of Dreams at some point and during the likes of in tomorrow. Because obviously today's day is of course the 12th of July today, in this case in 2021. So, a couple of massive things I would like to discuss. First of all, happy 8th anniversary of the release between Monsters University, at least in the UK version, and also Mario Luigi Dream Team Brothers also came out during 8 years ago now. And I was like, geez, that time really does fly, doesn't it? But I digress. Even though I haven't played the forms of Dream Team Brothers as much though, mainly it's because, well, obviously I'm focusing on, you know, other games in the future, because to be more specifically, until this Friday, that The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD is going to be releasing until this Friday. So we only got 4 days to go now, so even then though, and yeah, and also another thing too is the fact that, apparently though, that, we actually got ourselves a, I don't know what the other thing I was going to mention. Oh yeah, I managed able to bring the 3DS with me when I was in that Dorset that time, and because of that, I've only played 3 games for my sense of progression, and that is the forms of the 3 Kirby games on the 3DS, which is obviously Kirby Triple Deluxe, and Kirby Planet Robobot, and Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn. Except Battle Royale, just because it's more accurately like a an alright game. In fact, I haven't touched that game since, mainly it's because of the fact that I need to try to complete other Kirby games first before I jump into the forms of Battle Royale. So yeah, you probably get the idea about that. Oh, and another thing too is the fact that, as you saw, that we've managed to stumble across one of those new power-ups, which appears to be a super butt bounce, and basically you can able to do a, you know, trying to deal with a massive devastating attack. It might actually work if you're trying to able to take down the most pathetic enemies in the game, and for the most part though, I think it works just fine. So even then though, that it feels like an advanced version of that particular butt bounce 3 times combo thing, but thankfully it's more devastating than the forms of how it does it from the normal attack. So yeah, you probably get the idea about yeah, you get the idea. So, and then also another thing too is the fact that well, speaking of Kirby Triple Deluxe, I've recently managed to able to complete it, DDD Tour, which, that was quite fun, even though I did die, quite a few times, at one form or another, due to the forms of, well, the actual platforming can get pretty tough at times, but apart from that, I did have a really great time with DDD Tour. Although, speaking of King Dedede, I've almost pretty much 100% everything in Kirby Triple Deluxe, even though, mind you, there are a few exceptions I still need to complete, most notably with Dedede's Drum Bash, or Drum Dash, I think that's what the name of the sub-game is called anyway. And unfortunately though, I have to get a gold medals in order to be able to complete everything on that sub-game. And as far as for my results of that sub-game in mind, I somehow got average results, specifically silver medals specifically, which is not enough compared to the forms of how it does it what I was expecting. So, and also I went back on to, you know, Planet Robobot for able to complete a Meta Nightmare Returns, and that was actually pretty awesome too, because it does remind me of you know, Superstar Ultra, except on the 3DS Kyurem models and all that stuff though, and that was actually pretty awesome. And also I did manage to finally complete it, Team Kirby Clash sub-game, so not the deluxe counterpart though, because of microtransactions, which I wasn't too keen on, and yeah, that's pretty much about it. Even though, mind you, I was expecting if I was trying to go ahead and trying to deal with the forms of all the platinum runs and doing some specific stuff, but either way though, I just have no words to be able to think about it. So, no, I do apologize for my commentary. It gets a bit slightly iffy at points because I think my throat is actually getting a little bit more croaked up at points, but hopefully that's it's all if we get on to the next episode of this, specifically on this Wednesday and Friday potentially, then my throat should be okay. So anyway, and speaking of Planet Robobot, I've almost pretty much gone to 100% completion. The only thing I need to complete now is the arena, as well as the true arena. In this case, the hardest true arena in the entire Kirby series yet. So yeah, it might take me some time to actually just try to complete it, especially noticeable with these godforsaken luck-based elements of, you know, obtaining stickers or, you know, keychains in Triple Deluxe's case, and also I did manage to get some progressioning to Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn as well, so I just want to classify that. And there's also another power-up, as you saw, which appears to be the electric power, or electrical power. And basically what that does is that if you obtain that, you'll become electrocuted, and also you can able to actually use the actual, well, think of like using the actual, like, the force, or something like that, except the fact that, well, we can only deal, quite a lot of damage to certain robots, as you saw. So either way though, yeah, that's pretty much how this goes, basically. This kind of feels like almost like a town almost, except, well, they might be visually pretty, but it might be pretty linear, or just feels a bit too empty for my taste. But I have no words to able to think about it, so. Oh yeah, and another thing is worth noting for too is the fact that somehow I've almost felt a little bit more emotionless for my face today. Mainly it's because during the other day, while the weather is quite nice, during the forms of Dorset, in the UK anyway, and unfortunately though, I think I somehow got my forehead burned, and as a result, I'm still fine though. It's just the fact that, well, I forgot to bring my sunscreen. And because of that though, unfortunately I've got myself my sunburned on my forehead, so. But it's still fine enough as it is, especially noticeable how the fact that I'm honestly gonna blame on the forms of that, the randomizer, you know, what do you call it, the weather randomizer or something like that? Because at first glance, that it was expecting to able to be sunny, but unfortunately though, we deal with the cloudy weather, and to top it all off, that, for whatever reason, that the clouds just somehow just showed up, and then it's just, I just have no words to think about it. So either way though, And another thing is worth noting for this point too is the fact that I do apologize with the uploading schedule for this part has actually been slightly delayed than it was normally would. Mainly it's because obviously I just got late back during the course of a lot of traffic. And don't even get me started on the forms of countless amount of floods. And jeez Louise, it stinks. It really stinks so much. Especially noticeable about the fact that it's bad enough in the UK's traffic is always going to be kind of longish or something like that, and it's just that it just feels a bit too much for my liking. So yeah, you most likely get the idea about the fact that, well, I just have no words to say. So anyway though, and another thing is worth noting for this point too is the fact that I managed to able to watch the finals of, well, that happened yesterday actually, for those of your Americans out there do not know. That is something to do with the fact that since I was lived in UK, basically I've watched the finals of the Euro 2020 World Football Tournament thing. And everything else goes all fine and dandy in the past for England players and stuff like that. In fact, they did manage to make it to the finals, which is quite incredible if you ask me, except when it gets to the end of the tournament and somehow that Italy won by penalty shootouts. And as a result though, I was really anxious and also kind of nervous too, especially noticeable that back in yesterday, that I was expecting, I'm really hoping that England will win it. But apparently though, that sometimes players can get so aggressive sometimes. And also because of that though, that they go into penalty shootout. And somehow in the end, that Italy just felt kind of upset. Even though, mind you, England did it pretty dang good. Especially noticeable for the progression of the actual tournament. But apart from those side of things though, it was literally so close at the end. Like, I couldn't imagine about the fact that if we somehow win during the course of the penalty shootout, and we could able to actually get some sweet victory music in the background, much like the forms of the band Geeks from the likes of the SpongeBob episode, mind you, and unfortunately though, that it's already too late because Italy wins. So might be alright I suppose, but I could have wished if I let my country win, England as far as I'm aware. But regardless of such, they did pretty dang well. So it's just a game after all. And also that we're going to have to wait until the next 4 years, or should I say, next 3 years actually, because of the forms of oh, what the heck? Okay, my grabbing ledge technique doesn't seem to work with me. But anyway, we'll try again. But anyway, but let's just hope until the next 3 years for the England players, they're able to try to participate in Euro football thing again until 2024, around the same time, or around the same year actually, as Paris 2024 Olympics, specifically the Summer Olympics. So, in fact, talking of with the forms of the Olympic Games, actually, we only got about 11 days to go until specifically the actual Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, or generally people calls it, you know, Tokyo 2021 Olympics. So, that might seems a little bit more sense, don't you think? Despite it's been, you know, partially delayed. So, but I digress. So, and I just felt incredibly bad for the forms of some of the England fans out there, because apparently that I don't suppose if you guys may able to notice, but apparently that they just got beaten up after that major loss from that particular finals match, and then it was like, okay, why did they do that? Especially noticeable, they did try, they literally tried to able to win. But regardless of such though, there's not much else we can able to do with it. But I don't know, it just feels kind of weird. But either way though, it's kind of awkward able to say at this point right now, because well, I just got back. So yeah, that's as far as I can usually try to able to compromise for that such. So Anyway, and I suppose another thing I should probably explain about this too is the fact that recently, during the course of I would classify for saying that one of those Skyward Sword HD infos they managed to bring us into, and that is the fact that well, basically that Nintendo hasn't even adjusted that specific quality of life of improvements or something. And that is something to do with the actual free camera movement by utilizing the analog stick or something like that. Which I might be guessing, because unlike the original Wii version of the game, that you have to constantly press the Z button to quickly shift the cameras and all that stuff though. But apparently on the Switch remaster, that you no longer need to worry about this anymore. So at least that's the only good thing I can think of. So, oh yeah, and by the way, something is, as you can see, that I somehow managed to keep on having some struggles just trying to able to obtain that, you know, that 25th anniversary statue as you saw. Well, basically, in order to able to get some progressions on certain portions of the level, basically we need to take control of Pinky, the actual ghost, and basically all she can really do is the fact that, well, she can able to create visible platforms for you, so that way you can able to do some quite a bit of platforming involved, and basically that you can able to actually obtain those little special collectibles, or specifically one of those power orbs like stuff. I don't know how you would call these things, honestly, just because, well, then again, it's been quite a while since I actually did manage to come back to this. So, and yeah, in order to able to actually just make these platforms visible, then you're gonna have to able to press the square button if you're trying to able to activate those platforms. And once you're able to actually done with that, with Pinky anyway, then you were able to progress. So, and there's also another playable character in there as well, which we'll point it out at some points later down the road. But of course, we do now need to take down these little particular robots, as you saw right there. So, yeah, there's not much else to say in terms of... Oh, jeez, I'm almost running out of health. So, because of that, I might as well take... yeah, there goes my another death. That's just great. And, oh, you pushed me all the way back here? That's dumb. Especially noticeable about the fact that sometimes checkpoints doesn't really help you sometimes, but regardless of such though, we can at least still try, so either way though. But at least that's sure something, so... And I suppose that's pretty much as far as I can usually say at this point, well, apart from the fact that, well, usually relatively speaking, it's just the fact of the matter is though, that I'm presuming that we've almost at the halfway point in terms of Pac-Man World 3, despite the fact that it's going to be twice as long compared to the forms of how it does it on Pac-Man World 1, or Pac-Man World 2 even. Or to be more specifically, Pac-Man World 2, because in Pac-Man World 1, the actual length of the game is sometimes also a bit like medium length, but aside from all that stuff though, there's not much else to say, honestly. So, and it also doesn't help about the fact that it doesn't give me that particular health wedge to able to actually get my health back. And in fact, those enemies keeps on spawning and spawning and spawning over and over and over again. And, yeah, it's just a bit time consuming sometimes. And I just realized about something that, unfortunately though, I seem to able to actually skip over that particular Galaxian collectible item. In order to able to get that though, I think you need to able to grab or butt bounce the actual switch to able to actually stop the fan blades moving, because that's why if you're able to saw in that particular text box saying that Pac-Man is dizzy and stuff. What the heck? Why is my camera... I just really hate the grabbing ledging system in this game, because unlike Pac-Man World 2, to be more specifically, that it works just fine, because it does it for you, but in here, it's actually kind of awkward for my taste, because otherwise you're gonna have to able to, you know, do a lot of stuff. So I guess we should probably just, well, try again. Ah, dang it! It doesn't help that the actual steamers just come off. And unfortunately though, if you somehow die, and then basically if you keep on respawning onto that specific spot, there's no way you can skip this cinematic, which I know it's kind of sense on Pac-Man World 2, well, at least for the most part anyway, although unlike in Pac-Man World 2, that thankfully some of these scenes like this are pretty fast, so yeah, that might be something worth noting for. Okay, so we need to be very careful not to screw this up. So yeah, sometimes you always have to wait. Alright. No! My jump button does not even work on me. My jump button does not even work on me. Oh, that's lame. But at the very least, every time you fall off, you lose a bit of health instead of losing a life instantly, thankfully. So, anyways, let's try this again. So, oh jeez, I wasn't expecting all that much though. But thankfully though, I think we're almost there. Although, mind you, I was expecting to do 100% completion, but still. Okay. Oh, come! Duh! What was that? What was that? Why is my jump button does not even, like, respawn half the time? And I did press the jump button, and then all of a sudden it just goes like, nope, 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 I'm not doing jumping. And it's just, oh, I hate when that happened. Oh, sorry about that, folks. Sorry for being too mad about it, but, oh god, that's just annoying. Oh, okay. Alright, let's try again. Alright. You better jump. Finally! Okay, there we go. Ah, okay, burn me, I don't care. I don't care if you burn me, flamethrower. But Jesus Louise. I can't even believe that section screwed me up. Like, quite a few times. Just quite literally quite a few times there. But anyway, we're not done with the actual thing yet, because there are still more things to go over. But first, let me save my game, just in case if my insanity goes, well, horribly bad. But hopefully by that time until this week, then I should probably be more excited for The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, for sure, so... Anyway, another thing I want to explain, that is that's something to do with the fact that, well, unfortunately though, that most of this leaks out there still continues, and especially noticeable about the fact that it's bad enough they're able to actually give us leaks for certain gameplay footage of, despite the fact that we've only got about 3 exact months left until the game comes out. That is, of course, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, which, I'm not going to spoil anything about it though, just because, although despite the fact that it's basically a remake of the original 3 games for sure, which, honestly don't mind about it, even though they just thankfully did manage to cover up the character roster and stuff like that, which, we never know yet until the final release of the game, so, that might be sure it's something worth noting for. Although, apparently though, that, usually relatively speaking, is the fact that, actually to be honest with you, there's not much else I can talk about, because I've already mentioned, quite a few stuff actually, so, yeah, in fact, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. What you guys think about the forms of, your first impressions back in the day, in 2013, for able to not only watching Monsters University, the prequel to Monsters Inc., but also your first impressions on experiencing Mario Luigi Dream Team Brothers for the 3DS. Well, despite the fact that the American release of that particular game didn't come out until August, so that seems a little bit more of a month delay, predictably for American version, so, and it's also worth noting for is the fact that I don't suppose that I've mentioned about this, or, Mega Man hasn't mentioned about this either, during the course of Klonoa Empire of Dreams playthrough, and also the same applies to this as well, what I was going to be carry on doing. So far, that Monsters at Work has recently come up on Disney Plus. So I was really looking forward to watching that particular Disney Plus exclusive stuff. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, usually relatively speaking, that I was really looking forward to see what's up next after the events of the original Monsters Inc. film. So yeah, that's sure it's that thing. No, I do apologize for the actual awkward quietness going on here. Mainly it's because, well, I somehow spoke a lot. So, in fact, I have no idea what the hell am I supposed to do. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, it doesn't really tell me what the heck am I supposed to do. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, it doesn't give you anything specific hints for that matter. But regardless of anything else though, it's just the fact that I do apologize for the actual, the time itself on my footage. It feels a bit too wasted. So because of that, I apologize for that. So, bigger cells can be choosers, I suppose. Especially noticeable, again, it's like a semi-blind playthrough of Pac-Man World 3, because I don't know this game all that much compared to, you know, Pac-Man World 2 and Pac-Man World 1, because I do recognize those two games, basically. So, actually, I just want to point out as well that apparently someone said in the comments during the course of my playthrough of Pac-Man World 3 that he did say about the fact that I'd never mentioned about that awful game ever again, which I'm sure I'm probably not going to talk about that ever again, just because, well, I'm pretty sure he's already experienced the same exact, I'm pretty sure that he already experienced Sonic Boom or something like that on, oh shoot, I did not meant to say that, sorry. I'm pretty sure he'll have the exact same experiences as I do, which is kind of obvious because that particular Wii U game I mentioned about earlier is a piece of garbage. Excuse me. But, yeah, I suppose that's pretty much as far as I can say. All things considered, when it comes to mentioning things, all things considered. So, yeah, you probably get the gist of it, so. And I just realized is the fact that I'm basically almost running out of lives at this point. Especially noticeable because I keep on, like, falling off. And also, to make matters worse, that I keep on getting butt kicked by several enemy encounters, which it's not pleasant, especially noticeable about the fact that it doesn't really help that if you get hit, much like the forms of, well, let's just say Pac-Man World 1 or Pac-Man World 2, that it doesn't give you that much invincibility frame time. So because of that, I just have no idea. They just still budget that. So, oh well, no big deal though. But at least we'll still need to cope with it. Oh, there's a red crystal there, so that way we could able to actually use that particular platform that we can able to activate, like I just did for that switch over there. But yeah, that's as far as I can usually just try to discuss upon in regards to the forms of my impressions of, you know, dual certification. It was quite a lot of fun, and I'm glad to be back on the forms of several vacation break-offs and all that stuff, or certain like vacation or something like breaks or something like that, which is pretty awesome, especially noticeable, like, you know, after or somewhat after the forms of 2019 that I found that year pretty great. So, excuse me, I'm really sorry about this point, folks. I do need to sort out my throat up once we're done with this recording session, basically, so. But yeah, I get the feeling that the main objective on this level is that we're now able to find the way to stop that particular weapon in order to able to actually just to finish the level. So I'm guessing that might be some specific standpoints worth knowing for. But anyway, let's just save my progression here. And excuse me, I'm really sorry about this point, folks. And yeah, that's as far as I can usually imagine saying this, so. In fact, I would like to discuss on more info a bit more, thanks to the forms of, you know, some more stuff coming. Although, that most people have a lot of controversial when it comes to the forms of Nintendo Switch OLED model. which is basically it's like the newer version of Nintendo Switch is gonna come out and during this October. That most people complain about the fact that, well, not only does it usually gives us 50 quid more than the original model, but also it does not support 4K. Now let me explain this right from the start. Unfortunately though, I'm still not overly got actually access to 4K support, especially noticeable that with the Samsung TV I still managed to get. Because unfortunately though, that it does not support 4K. So that's why that I somehow managed able to still got Xbox Series S, as opposed to Xbox One X, or Series X or S, for that matter. Oh, and another thing too is the fact that until around that time, that during the same day actually, as in the forms of not only The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD was releasing on the Switch, but also during the same day as when the Croods 2 A New Rage in the UK version for that particular release on the big screen. And also we're about to be getting ourselves Space Jam and New Legacy is about to be due out at some point in this Friday. So, in fact, the reviews of that particular film though, so far anyway, according to Rotten Tomatoes website, unfortunately though, much like the original film though, they did receive like 50% so far. Which, it will change though, until the later further down the road, as far as, you know, day progression itself goes. So, but we'll see what happens during whenever that film comes out. I don't know if I might as well see that though, mainly it's because, well, I'm still gonna be basically just trying to wait until whenever I see the Black Widow, which is basically a new Marvel film, and, which already came out. During the course of not only on the big screen, but also on Disney Plus Premier Access, which, yeah, that's usually as far as I can usually think about that. Oh yeah, and another thing is worth noting for this point as well, is the fact that I managed to go back onto Mario Kart Tour again, and it looks like the next tour for the likes of Mario Kart Tour is going to take place in Los Angeles, in California. So as a result though, we can able to actually just to see Los Angeles, you know, based tracks again, after the events of, I would say, after the events of, how bad last year went. So, at least if I'm guessing correctly. Yeah, I think I guessed that correctly, because I know it has been, you know, quite a few days since I actually did manage to touch upon Mario Kart Tour, even though despite the fact that most people don't really care about that game anymore just because they really still wanted Mario Kart 9, which I really wish, especially noticeable for likely, how about this, if they try to give up supporting the forms of Mario Kart Tour and try to focusing on the new, like, full-fledged game instead, like basically just make Mario Kart 9 existence on the Nintendo Switch, I mean that will be really amazing, but they still continue supporting Mario Kart Tour for, well, let's just say making money for likely for microtransactions kind of stuff. So I would like to jump off there, but it might be a bit too risky. And plus, if you notice on the forms of the first world in this game, that if you somehow jump off and then just try to land on that specific spot, basically that it doesn't allow you to do that anymore, which is kind of sucks if you ask me. Especially, I'm guessing it's more accurately the complaints about like the fall damage existence during the course of Pac-Man World 2 or something. Although I may be wrong, but it knows where it stands. Right, so it feels like we've almost there now, so it's we need to make our way back now, so yeah, that might be sure, it might be something's worth noting for. And of course, we do need to activate that switch over there. I just realized that we need to activate that switch in order to activate the door, I just realized. Oh, jeez. Sometimes this game can really, like, get on my nerves sometimes. Or to be more specifically, just, you know, trying to digest me sometimes. You know, after playing through the amazing Pac-Man World 1 and Pac-Man World 2, in this case to me, the more superior ones, still. Which I'll save the actual my final impressions or my final thoughts of this game until whenever we get to the very end of this Let's Play, basically. Until, God knows, until August, or at some point in the next few days, or something like that in between. Although, mind you, that Mega Man, that he's pretty much at the halfway point in terms of Klonoa Empire of Dreams recently. So, hopefully that particular Let's Play will be finished by then, until specifically in, well, for this month in general. So, alright, let's just not mess around this time, so we'll just go ahead and, you know, do that. And there we go, that's what we're supposed to do. Jeez, you couldn't tell me for this earlier at the earliest point, but oh well. Of course, we got more robots there, so we're just gonna have to... Oh, I need to grab a cherry. So, even though I haven't got all the actual items as much though, sadly, mainly it's because it's pretty obvious, because I haven't exactly, like... And I somehow skipped over that actual text box reading, so... Whatever. We'll just, trying to deal with even more robots, even more enemies, and then just... Oh, is that how you're able to experience the end of a level right there? Like, we're gonna have to find our... Wait, why is the camera angles aiming that way? I mean, I don't get it. Why is the camera angle just somehow managed to point me to go over there? In fact, that just takes me back. Yeah, it does actually take me back, so... I can't believe the camera angle screwed me up. Again. Oh, jeez. This is going to be a little bit more obscure or ambitious for the time. Oh yeah, something's worth knowing for. You can actually referral to this particular little catapult thing, or that little shelter thing where those enemies come out of. Basically, you can able to actually just to destroy them. So, at first I thought I was used to with Sonic Lost World, that you can basically just ignore these little particular contraptions like that. But apparently you do need to do that, because otherwise, if you don't, then basically they'll just constantly just, you know, respawn every single moment's notice. So, excuse me, I'm really sorry about this point, folks. Don't worry though, until specifically on Wednesday, that I will be able to actually get my throat a little bit more better. So, because yeah, it just always happens to me sometimes. But anyway, I suppose, as far as anything I'd like to discuss upon, that's just pretty much as far as I can usually just try to point things out. Especially noticeable how, you know what I mean, when it comes to the forms of likely, like, some anniversaries on certain things for, you know, how long some stuff has been released for the time. And, also, I had a great time at Dorset, and, overall it's been a lot of fun. And hopefully by that time I will be still go back into this after all. And especially noticeable with the fact that Mega Man will, you know, go back onto Klonoa Empire of Dreams and at some point in tomorrow. And eventually until this particular weekend coming up, that Mighty the Armadillo will able to go back onto Mario Party 5. So that should be pretty exciting. So... Oh, and by the way, something's worth noting for is the fact that for this maze right there, that the maze I'm actually in right now, this is mandatory if you really want to finish the stage. So, yeah, that might be something's worth noting for. And also that we actually somehow stumbled across these little dash panels obstacles again after the events of the previous maze-like levels, and I somehow keep on getting screwed up because I swear the controls on this can be a bit, well, awkward to me though, compared to the forms of Pac-Man World 2 or Pac-Man World 1 for a small extent. But I have no idea, but either way though, but at least we actually got ourselves about a couple of Pac dots left until we're basically done here, so... Oh jeez, I did not notice there's more over there! Oh jeez, this could be multitasking right there. But there we go, maze complete, and I think if we manage to accomplish this, then this will pretty much complete the level, so... Yeah, there goes that. But yeah, that's pretty much about it for this level, so... Yeah, I think this level's... Nah, not that great. Well, aside from that jump button problem that I somehow stumbled across into earlier, so... Yeah, I just can't believe I wasted so much health due to that stupid, jump responsive button thing I just keep on about. But it does get worse from here though, especially noticeable whenever we get into, like, later down the road, which I know seems a little bit more crucial for saying things like that, but I just have no words to able to think about it, so... Anyway, now we're just able to done that and save our progress from here. And, of course, we'll save here. And I'm presumably that we move on to the next world. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about this, honestly, because... Let's just say there's not much else I can speak of, as I already stated this earlier, or even hundreds of times.
Ooh, my eyes are spinning, so I'm guessing I'm back in the spectral realm. It's a nice surprise, Orson. Thanks.
I've located Clyde, Pac-Man. He's being held somewhere in this realm. It'd be better to find him before this place collapses entirely.
Clyde? Hey, it's been a long time since I traded witticisms with Old Red. I really do feel almost nostalgic, Ors. But me? Rescuing ghosts? I tell you, it's just not natural.
Natural or not, Pac-Man, you need to do it. Clyde's a fighter, and he'll be vital in our war against Owen.
I think suffice to say, we're gonna have the endings off here, so join me next time on Let's Play Pac-Man World 3, is the fact that we are moving on to the Spectral Vial. So I'll see you guys until on Wednesday. Later, fellas. See you guys then.